Rwanda is the home of over 14 million people, with the lives of 1,000 heroes and guerrillas, and the beautiful city that was built from 1994 to now after the genocide against the Tutsis. Rwanda has progressed when it comes to infrastructures and human development, with all those things they experienced during their time of the dark days. When you come to Rwanda, you see beautiful cities, nice flow, you see entertainment, you see sports, you see businesses and many more moving across Africa. Rwanda is connecting with the world, and this is the Singapore in Africa. So welcome to this video, and let's watch and see what Rwanda has to offer you.
So good afternoon, welcome to our channel. Today we are at the Genocide Memorial, and this genocide took place in 1994 against the Tutsis.
With a beautiful smile and beautiful city, there is a dark story behind Rwanda that many people don't know out there. The genocide of Rwanda was one of the deadliest in history, which took place in the 20th century, approximately 100 days from April to July 1994, and it resulted in the death of estimated 800,000 to 1 million people, mostly members of the Tutsis minority. So the sign behind me is pronounced Kwibuka. It is a Rwanda language, and it means in English, never again.
So these are the graves of people who lost their life during the genocide against the Tutsis. As you can see, so many graves here, and to this background here, these are graves. You cannot touch it, but you can see here are the graves.
When these crises take place in a country, it takes away life and freedom, and this is what happened to the Tutsis in 1994. According to history, the Tutsis were 14% traditional cattle herders, while the Hutu were 85% traditional farmers. And this happened when the European came to colonize or separating people, showing different mentalities against our people.
Fighting with these people who always deny the genocide against Tutsi. And now this is the proof or the fact that at least the world has seen that even in Rwanda, the genocide happens.
Rwanda was then a colonial state which was under the German colonization and later the Belgian colonization in 1916 to 1962, and this transformed with identity cards and showing separation against people. This is the trouble that European brought to Africa, bringing borders, separating people, showing that some people are better than the others, and this is what caused trouble against African today.
The report shows that President Mitterrand and his closest advisors knew that a genocide against the Tutsi was being planned by their allies in Rwanda. Despite that knowledge, the president decided to continue supporting them because he believed this was necessary.
And because of the differences showing by the European between the Rwandan people, in 1959, the Hutu revolution overthrew the Tutsi monarchy. And by 1962, Rwanda gained independence under the Hutu-led government, where many Tutsis flee to neighboring countries like Uganda, Burundi, Tanzania, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. You see, when people come into your home to show differences among your people, these are problems it causes. And today, when you are traveling to African countries, even when you are African, you are being asked to buy visa. This is the problem we face as African because of the separation of borders the European brought to Africa to separate us from other people. But when you go to Europe, Europeans are traveling to other European countries free of charge because there was no separation between them. But this separation was brought to Africa to turn our people against themselves.
Your thinking in that situation was no longer, you really don't feel what you're thinking because you went all night, so you saw the, people were shooting each other like military, You saw bodies on your way going, so you don't really think anymore. You actually get time to think if you are really safe, like after 2 days. When you arrived, you feel like you arrived, you were like, you were like someone who doesn't think normally because you are in a situation that is beyond your level of thinking. So when you reach the RPF, you feel like you're an RPF, but you feel it, you feel it, and then you feel, of course, you are not going to be killed. At least you knew that, at least you are no longer being going to be killed.
And in these dark days of October 1990, the Tutsis were in different countries going through a lot where their freedom have been seized and they have to fly to other countries for freedom. And with the radio station called Radio Television Labridis Mani Colinis, this radio station started to spread hate speech against the Tutsis, calling them cockroaches and enemies. And then in 1993, the Arusha Accords were signed to bring peace between the Hutu government and the RPF. However, the Hutus saw this as a betrayal.
Bukeye mu gitondo nibwo basanze murumuna wanjye nyine ku buryo twamukuye mu musarani hariya bari bamujugunye mu musarani pwari.
On the 6th of April 1994, the then president of Rwanda, Habyarimana, was being killed, and this was being staged allegedly because the Hutus wanted to show show the world how massive this killing is. And it's not just against the Tutsis, but this was claimed by people that this was staged by the Hutus while going against the Tutsis in Rwanda. And today, the story has been yet clear. Who was the perpetrator that brought down the plane of the former president of Rwanda? On the next day, which was April 7, 1994, the Hutu launched a coordinated campaign of extermination against the Tutsis of Rwanda.
I had to explain to somebody who was not from Rwanda, because it was a very normal thing, it wasn't like a special thing. It's not like people are crying, it was just it's part of my childhood.
And this extermination, which was then classified as genocide, took away 800,000 to 1 million lives of Tutsis, including rapes, murder, and today people live with this trauma. People lost their life, family lost their life, with 250 to 500 people, women being raped, being transmitted with diseases, HIV, and today is a critical problem. In this time of genocide, the United Nations Assistance Mission for Rwanda, which was led by the Canadian General Romeo Dallaire, was present but had a limited mandate.
Years may seem a long time for some, but not when you live and experience that my colleagues and I lived in Rwanda, and particularly the Rwandans. But worse than that is that after 30 years of apparent peace, which was really only truces of trying to find new.
Despite the warning from General Romeo, telling the world that the genocide in Rwanda is not to be taken lightly. However, the United Nations failed the people of Rwanda, and the world largely watched the huge genocide took place that took away life in Rwanda. And after that, the present president, President Paul Kagame, took the people, the Tutsis, he organized those groups, and they brought liberation to this country. Today, Rwanda is one of the most peaceful countries in Africa. Rwanda is going far ahead, connecting with the world, making these differences, but people don't know the dark story behind Rwanda. I am Jefferson Flomo. I brought you all this story from Rwanda. I hope you hit that subscribe button, that you get more of these stories from here on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience. This is Rwanda.